Hey everyone, my name is Pev and I will be discussing how female characters in the new Justice League 2021 Snyder's Cut present a shift from the traditional representation of women in cinema. So we'll be exploring the mise-en-scene representations, the character roles, and the fictionality in the movie. I'm going to give you two reasons for both sides of the argument and whether or not female characters present a shift from the traditional representation. Just for the record, anyone that hasn't seen this movie, spoilers alert. So, for the first reason that there has been a shift in cinema, traditionally women were damsels in distress. They were rescue figures for the male heroes. The first shot showing Spider Man rescuing Mary Jane can show that women were weak and helpless without a man. This is contrasted to the new Justice League Zack Snyder's movie, which was released 17 years later, showing female warriors battling armies and fighting in the Dark Side War. This can convey how women have evolved and been presented in cinema as the change of society has increased drastically in the last 20 years. We have seen this with the most recent female superhero movies such as Wonder Woman 2017, Captain Marvel 2019, Birds of Prey Harley Quinn 2020, and now the new movie that will be coming out, Black Widow in 2021. In the movie Justice League 2021, we see women to be stronger and impactful in the movie. This is shown with Superman resurrecting from the dead and fights off the Justice League team. Wonder Woman was the only one in that fight scene to make Superman even think a little on where he came from as she threw her lasso of truth on Superman. At the end of the fight scene, and with the Justice League team all knocked over, who comes in? That's right, Lois Lane, Superman's lover, who shows her presence and he is reminded of loving memories that they had together. This shows women to be influential to the story and perhaps the saviour towards humanity, saving men like Superman and pretty much the whole world. Judith Butler's gender theory mentions gender is what you do, not who you are, contesting the categorization of gender and sexuality. Women in this particular blockbuster movie shows a lot of equalities towards men and women, and perhaps in fact women to be more stronger than men in some ways. After all, Steppenwolf, the main villain, was killed and finished off by Wonder Woman. However, on the other side of the argument, the movie doesn't show a shift from the traditional representation. This is shown in where Wonder Woman has to save the hostages in a bank robbery. We see Wonder Woman flicking her hair in the fight, and the slow motion effect could be a way of grabbing male audience's attention. In the famous scene in the movie Gilda 1946, shows male gaze and objectification as she flicks her hair up in her first screen appearance, and the man stares at her in full gaze. A reference to Gilda was also mentioned in the movie The Shawshank Redemption 1994, where the male prisoners were watching the movie and they saw her flick her hair. They started laughing and objectifying her look, which then one of the main prisoners, Red, said, "This is the part I really like, when she flicks her hair." The use of her hair flick is a way of attracting male audiences to gaze and objectify them, almost like a tease saying, "Come to me then." Also, through performance, we see Superman come back home with Lois Lane. Lois Lane is a traditional wife figure for Superman, and in this scene, she puts his shirt on him. This reinforces the old female representations where women served men, helping men tie their ties and put their clothes on. This is seen in the movie The Best Years of Our Lives 1946, where a female named Marie dresses up her drunk lover Fred and puts his shirt on. This movie was filmed just after the war, which is when women were targeted to stay at home and serve their husbands when they came back from the war. It's quite a similar situation in this new Justice League film where Lois Lane looked after Superman, puts his shirt on him as he had resurrected from the dead and fights off the Justice League team. Stuart Hall's stereotype theory mentions representation reduces people to a few simple characteristics or traits. As we can see that the norm of female traditional actions and characteristics still applies to today's films. We can also look at Wonder Woman's clothing as well. It's pretty much similar to the Wonder Woman TV show 1974, except for that it's a metallic suit and very slightly more covered. This still conveys the sexualized tight clothing, short skirt, all conforming to Laura Mulvey's theory, where she argues for women, the result of media being presented from the perspective of men and through male gaze. On the other hand, through women's physical appearance, women are depicted as skilled strategists, intelligent, and physically strong with muscular physiques. This is seen through the Amazonians in contrast to the traditional women who played weak figures, stayed at home, wives with curvy, timid physiques, playing the model wife role and just raising kids. In this movie, we see women have significant roles, like Lois Lane being a successful journalist, Mira, Poseidon's female assistant, and obviously Wonder Woman, and therefore presents significant strengths equal to men. This goes against Bell Hook's theory, where feminism struggles to end patriarchal oppression, as it shows women's roles to be equal with men, fighting together rather than them being the victims or even the domestic figures. And finally, for my final reason that there hasn't been a shift, is that although having a female character amongst the main superheroes in the movie, there is only one female character showing a male-dominated team. This could show that men are more needed and more heroic than women, as it is still a struggle in cinema to have women as superheroes rather than them playing as victims. As the main villain Steppenwolf approached victory, all the superheroes knew they couldn't win without Superman, a male figure, as he saved Cyborg from getting axed and beat Steppenwolf up, with the rest of the squad joining up to help Superman to destroy him. He, being the ultimate hero, can perhaps convey he is the real saviour and rescued the world. This can relate to Stuart Hall's stereotype theory, which conforms to the stereotype that men are usually big and brave in the film, seeing Superman as our main hero. Finally, to sum it all up, I think that women have drastically risen in the Hollywood film industry and have been significant in the last 20 years. But it doesn't mean that they have fully had equal roles to men and have truly presented a shift from the traditional representation of women in cinema. What do you think about watching the new Justice League? Have they?